That's last time, wasn't it? London Pride from me, and a Doom Bar
And
for
Doom Bar for me. My favourite.
Cheers, old boy.
Cheers. Thanks for the day. It's been just what I needed.
Yeah. One of my patients. I said, what you need to do is come down to the woods, 1 hour minimum every other day, and do that for a week, and then come back and see me. And then the next week it'll be 2 hours a day, and then so on. And after 6 months, it will change your life forever. And you won't feel upset or sad anymore.
Oh,
Certainly helps, doesn't it?
certainly does.
Yeah, especially these.
Oh.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers all. It's been a tough old time, but life goes on.
Yeah. Freddie Mercury said, the show must go on, mate.
The show must go on.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh.
We are where we are.
Mm.
Tell you what, man, look at that, they got the old smoke coming through the thing.
Yeah, hazy.
Yeah. I just love that when the old sun comes through and the smoke. Spread all of the coals out. It cools down quicker that way, so when we come to tidy up and cover it with water and all the rest of it, it's a bit easier to do later.
It'll be all done and dusted.
Yeah.
Look,
Done and dusted.
the sun's shining on me.
Hey, the righteous.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, if I tell you a little story, you won't think it's the righteous, but I did.
You and your bloody Jack and Horries. Oh, story. Yeah, we were just saying earlier, off camera, bloody. Yeah, despite how bad things get, I think you try to make the most of each day, even if it's just one little positive thing. If you're having a crap day for whatever reason, if you just have one little thing that'll make you laugh or smile, that's the start.
That's it. Do it.
Start from there, innit?
Yeah.
Start from a little thing.
Yeah.
And then, go for it. But for me, what's been helping me through this lockdown scenario is completely turn the television off. 1 month now, I had no telly for a month. Every time I'm in the car, I usually put the radio on. Radio 2 or Classic FM, that sort of thing. Or local radio. And every time they say, over to our newsroom, I go, turn it off. No radio in the house, but she does recently, bless her. But no, I've had no news and no television for a month. Watch YouTube, catch up with friends around the world, see what they're up to. And it's not just bushcraft, prepping and survival for me. I'm interested in other things. And there's a couple of channels that I've been watching now and again. Not much lately, but over the last 6 months been watching a lot. Pardon me. And that's the van lifers. One of them is called Trent and Ali. They're really good. Nomadic Movement, they're good. And the Matinees, they're good, them three. I did watch that Max and Lee, but they split up recently, all went south for them. But no, those 3 channels, they're great to keep up to date now and again. Obviously, Survival Russia, Lars, you mad nutcase. Yeah, just little things like that. And obviously Littleton loves to watch his, whatever he wants to watch on YouTube. Stuff like that, So that's all I use the TV for. And as I say, the radio is off or very minimal. And it's really helped me, because there's just so much fear, doom and gloom. And, I just want to get outside and be happy in this time. Because as I said in the other video, once them 24 hours are gone,
they're gone.
You don't get them back.
No, it's gone.
And as preppers, we do sort of keep one eye on the future, and we sort of prepare for it as best we can in ways that we think is applicable to us as individuals, in the budgets that we have, at the pace that we prep along with. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different scenario. I can't tell you what to do because I'm not you. Like you said about the Indian shoe thing earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was?
Don't criticise anybody until you walked 2 miles in their moccasins. That's basically an old Plains Indian proverb as such, and that's how they rule one of the reasons how they rule their lives. Let other people do what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, isn't it?
Absolutely, yep.
That goes along with everything, really, I mean, it's so easy to criticise and to judge people.
Yeah.
We all do it. I do it. My partner does it for a bit of a laugh. But you know, if you was to sit down and chat before you go to bed, like review the day, and you think, oh yeah, you know, did I really have to call that person whatever?
Yeah.
You know, without him hearing, but you know, I said it. You think it's not going to help or achieve anything. So why judge? Why criticise? You know,
Yeah.
we're doing this because we want to, and it's not upsetting anyone. It's not affecting anyone. We leave no traces. We always do, and it's helping us deal with what we're going through. So if anyone's
Certainly is.
going through lots of crap
Mm.
for whatever reason, there's millions of reasons. I can finally recommend this because it's helped me, pretty much.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those things. You just got to work your way through it
Yeah,
and just do what you got to do to get through the day. It's not easy,
yeah,
never will be, but you got to just try your best.
yeah. As I say, you don't get. You know, I think a lot of people out there expect stuff to just drop into their lap. You know, you do a video or something, you get a comment and saying, "Well, where can I get this? Where can I look?" You know, we've all got the internet. It's an amazing tool to use. Use Google to find out anything you want to, pretty much. You know, don't have to ask millions of questions. Just go to Google and look, and then believe what you're drawn to believe in your
That's
intuition.
right. Yeah.
If you don't have an intuition or you don't trust it, I'd say you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're at the mercy of governments and that, then, and we don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
You have to learn to think for yourself. Do what you know to be right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's enough for saying. We got a lot of quotes coming out today.
Oh, there's lots of them.
Yeah, there is a video full of cliches.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Uh,
But it's weird, you know. Look, life is all a journey, as they say, and it's not about what happens at the end. It's about what you do day to day.
yeah, to get to the end.
It's all true, wise words, and it's easy to say because you know it in your heart to be true. And if you can't speak like that, then you know maybe do some work on yourself a bit, because I think we all need to be there. You know, because at the moment there's a lot of people scared and suffering needlessly too, and you don't have to be. You know.
No. Live the life the way you want to live it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're a human being on this planet, and it's your life. You know, don't let others push you around and tell you what you can and can't do. You know, as long as you're not hurting or upsetting anyone, or putting your beliefs and opinions onto anyone else, it's fine in my book.
Correct.
Someone's asked me to run for Prime Minister. Shit. Oh no, man.
I haven't got the time, I thought I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll then take some more time. Oh damn. But yeah, there will be some videos coming up. Oh, I don't know when. Over the next week or so. I've actually decided against my original YouTube intention, bugging out and bugging in. When I made that statement when I started my channel, there was just me and my ex-wife at the time, and it was quite easy to bug out. But when you've got family to bug out, and you've got no access to land or money and resources to build a bug out location or a settlement, it's very, very hard. And a lot of people have just made the decision to take whatever comes and stay at home and just do your best with what you got up there. So I've decided to turn my garden into a vegetable plot. Luckily for me, I decided to go into have an allotment back in 2010, something like that, 2 or 3 years. And I learned a lot from the old timers. They're all in their 80s and 90s now. And the knowledge that was
passed on.
Yeah, I've taken it on board, and I've, you know, like we do, we try it our own way, and sometimes it works, sometimes it fails, sometimes you get a bit of luck, sometimes it doesn't. So with all of my trials and tribulations and what I've learnt from the old timers, I've done really well in my belief in growing veg.
You certainly have done very well.
Oh, thanks, Dave. So I'm doing that, and I'm passing it on to my son and my partner as well. She went years ago to horticultural college, so she knows a fair bit about plants and stuff like that. So together, you know, we're teaching our son, you know, the art of growing veg. It's easy to grow veg, and it's the same old thing. It's easy to get fit. The hardest thing is keeping the veg alive and staying fit and keeping fit.
That's correct.
It is. It's the hardest thing. Anyone can get fit. It's quite easy. It doesn't take long. No matter how big you are, it's easy to get fit. you stay fit for the rest of your life. That's it's a different thing. You've really got to want it in your heart.
Butterfly.
Yeah, there's all sorts of lovely things flying around here. It's awesome. So yeah, back to growing the veg. I'm doing that in the garden and passing it on, learning as we go. I don't know it all, but every day's a school day. That's true. And also, I thought it's a good idea to get some chickens. So yeah, we've got a couple of chickens. So they're bantams. So they're smaller. They're easier to manage. Yeah, the eggs are a bit smaller, but the yolks are the same size, if not bigger. So the eggs are lovely.
Just eat more eggs.
Eat more eggs, yeah. And my partner loves to bake, and I'll try and get her into baking bread soon. It's one thing we haven't tried on yet. It just seems like a lot of hassle for very little in return. But bread, I think it'd be crap without bread, wouldn't it? Really.
Oh,
So
yes.
it'd be a good idea to learn making bread and baking. So we're gonna have eggs for that. And bantams are good. I'm in sort of semi-urban environment, so near the countryside, near the thick of it. So I'm right in the middle of it all. And apparently bantams are good for urban environments. Chickens, oh god, if you get a cockerel as well, I said you're gonna have bad neighbours. You don't want that at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
you don't want that. There's enough cocks in this world, if you know what I mean.
Well, drink to that.
So yeah, we got a couple of bantams. We got 3. One of them had an eye problem. We took it back, got our money back, and we're waiting for another 3 or 4 maybe over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully, when they come, we will have like 5 or 6, and that's a good little number for our family. And yeah, we're gonna stock up on feed and blah blah blah. I'm currently 80% through the entire build at the moment. That's the coop, the run, and everything else, and securing it from the fox. If any of you want to check it out on Instagram, you can. There's a link to my Instagram account on my YouTube channel page, about or whatever it's called. So click on that, and then you will see what I've been up to about this. But at some point, I will be making a video for you guys. It's just finding the bloody time,
But can that coop be converted to a little room for me to come and live with when I'm old and knackered?
Only if you curl up.
No, I like space.
Stretch your legs. I'll come up with the roof up with a hinge. Yeah, right. But no, that was all done on a budget. I've been saying since probably a week before the lockdown. Use this time wisely.
Correct.
You're not
Absolutely
gonna have access to things like you used to have. This was at the start of the lockdown, right? So what I used to do is every time I drove to and from work, I would drive slower than usual because there's less traffic, and my eyes were everywhere. And the amount of materials that I scavenged, you wouldn't believe it. All sorts. Pallets, plastics, pieces of metal, God knows what. Just got it all, got it back home. They're all useful items. And with all of their materials, I've created an environment to keep chickens, and it didn't cost anything. I've heard stories from my partner, she said on Facebook, people have spent up to £600 on coops, and a week later the foxes got in there and ravaged and killed all their chickens. So I'm thinking, you don't really know what you've got until you do it yourself. So I've done it myself. I've made it like Fort Knox, and sometimes even I can't bloody get in there. So I've made it as best I could to stop foxes. Just when you think, you have to think like a fox. Foxes are cunning buggers.
Yeah.
So when you build something like this, spend time, trust me, spend time looking over it, moving things around. Is it flimsy? Is it thin? Can you move it? Is there gaps? Plug everything. And I didn't know this, but recently I found out that rats can get in through sizes like that, and mice can get in through a 20pp size. And you get them in your chicken coop, it's not good. So yeah, we spend a lot of time knocking all that up and stuff. So that's where I'm at the moment. So we're basically doing like an urban homestead, pretty much. We're lucky enough to have an apple tree at the bottom of our garden. So at some point in the future, I'm going to try making some cider. Last year, made some apple pies, like your dad used to do, my granddad.
Oh yeah.
Remember them apple pies in that big plates?
Oh, brilliant. Best apple pie maker in the world.
They certainly were good, weren't they?
Certainly were.
Yeah, big lump of custard on the top. Proper English stuff. But yeah, oh, that takes me back, innit?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's different when you become a parent, your sole focus is family. And personally, it's taken me a while to really fully, truly believe and understand that. it's a big change to go through. And yeah, it's taken me a long time, but I really get it now. And my mate Wayne, Sergeant Fruitcake, cheers Wayne, he said to me on a text, he said, look, he said, forget about everything. It's nothing you can do to change anything. Just focus and concentrate on your family.
Correct, absolutely correct.
It's true words, you know.
Yep.
Because you can't, you know, one man can probably change the world, maybe not. I'm sure Donald Trump's having a go, isn't he? Bloody hell. But yeah, he said to me, you know, and to him, family is more important than anything, and he doesn't really think of anything else.
No.
So I'm thinking, okay, then take that on board, let it sink in. And a few other people have, you know, advised me recently. I'm a cockroach on the phone. Hi, Mike. Good to see you, mate. And yeah, I've taken it on board, and I've taken your advice, and it's come to a point now where I've had to make big changes, and that's what I'm doing. I've taken a step out of the limelight in that spotlight, and I'm focusing on family, and I'm hoping to encourage and inspire people to come out and do something like this. Not the same as this, but like this.
Yeah, come out and enjoy it.
Yeah, for their mental health, you know, because a lot of people are unfortunately committing suicide because, you know, they can't see a way out of this mess. But, you know, this, I think, it's a mental war, and we're all taking part in this war. So prepping is survival, so we're doing what we do to survive, and this is part of it. You know, come out, forget about everything, don't think of it, just relax, take deep breaths, unwind.
Keep cool.
Yeah,
Keep
listen to the bird song, and, you know, just relax, okay?
It's all here.
Yeah, it's all here for you to enjoy, you know? Whether you're by the beach, whether you're by fields or by woods.
Don't look at my stomach.
Did it move?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. So yeah, we just thought we'd come out and
Chill out.
yeah, popular demand. We've had a lot of feedback on the last video. That was a year or two ago now, where we camped on this very spot. And
That was fun though, wasn't it?
yeah, it was brilliant.
That really was.
Yeah,
Happier days then than what they are now, but hey ho,
gotta make it.
best foot forward and off you go.
We're throwing that steak on them bloody charcoal and them jacket spuds.
Yeah.
You love them jacket spuds more. I couldn't
Oh,
believe
they
it.
were well, like I said,
Childhood days.
it took me back to my bomb site days, which I told you all about the last time. But I was saying to Darren, I was thinking of a little story. I spent probably close on to 10 years working in the building trade. I worked my way up from a pipe fitter's mate to a so-called, what they call craftsman improver. So I worked on many sites, and again, many tales to tell. And Darren said, well,
Good fun, isn't it?
you know,
Yeah.
tell us a few. There is so many, and there's lots sticks in my mind. This is not in chronological order, because the company I worked for, we worked on the Isle of Wight in the prisons. Now before you can work in the prisons, you've got to have a Home Office check. If you pass the Home Office check, you're then allowed to work in the prisons. When you get that, and you're assigned to work in whatever prison, ours was on the Isle of Wight, Albany prison, but this is a little story about Camp Hill, which is category C prison then. This was in the late 60s, early 70s. And then you go in and see the governor, and the governor tells you basically what you can and can't do. And in those days, one of the things that came up was beware of the Mars bar. Now you all laugh because
I've never heard this story before. Is this a new one? God.
now, once you're in there and the convicts see you really regular, and don't forget most of the time you've got warders or screws with you. But sometimes they get you on their own and they will ask you, oh, one thing we're missing here is a Mars bar. Any chance of getting this one for you? So you go, what's a Mars bar then? Next to nothing. But you've been warned. Once you get a Mars bar, they will then want cigarettes. Once they get cigarettes, they will want something else. So all of a sudden, that little Mars bar takes you right on.
Yeah.
And that's what you're warned about.
Don't start.
Don't start. Now, one particular time, people do find this extremely strange.
You and this shovel recce.
But I had a little workbench, in basically the courtyard, like their parade ground. And if you were in like that, you had to have a warder with you all the time. So you had to keep an eye on all your tools, all your equipment, hacksaw blades, knives, and all this sort of stuff. So you had to get them out of your workbench, onto the bench. When you finish, put them back, shut the lid. So you just had to be wary. And one day I was out there, we was making brackets. So we had the old oxyacetylene cutters, cutting the brackets, punching holes in them. There was just me, the warder, all quiet. All of a sudden the warder vanishes. I then look up and there's a red band. Now a red band is one of those that come near the end of their time. They got special privileges. So we come across, we started talking. I was watching me workbench because I had a couple of hacksaws on there and all this sort of stuff. But he wasn't interested in that. He wanted to know if I had any knowledge or experience of using a thermic lance. So I said,
Oh, what?
well, I know the principle.
That's safe to know.
And he said, correct, that is safe to know. And he said, well, I'll be getting out in X a month's time. Would you be interested in a little job we're doing? And I thought, shit. I said, I can't. I said, I've just got married. I said, my wife will bloody kill me. And he said, well, I think of it as an extra wedding present. So I thought,
Oh, what?
oh shit.
Jesus.
Anyway, we were like him and an aunt. With that, all of a sudden he turns and walks off. With that, the warder comes out. Everything all right? Yeah, fine. I thought, fucking hell, what's going on? Excuse my French. I thought, shit, what's going on? I said, no, I can't. I've just got married. We're just looking for a house. The money will come in out. No.
No, don't do it.
So
That's before I come along.
after a while, I called him up and said, no, look, I'm just not interested. That's all right. He said, don't worry about it. And we just left it. We then carried on and he left and we didn't think no more of it. By then we were working back in Albany prison and we found out through the grapevine that they'd done a diamond hoist.
What?
Now this was, you can use a thermic lance on a safe, but you've got to remember that what's inside, if it's paper,
Yeah.
it's going to get burnt. Diamonds, they don't burn.
They take a lot of heat, don't they?
They take a lot of heat. And he said this job was quite easy, and he did do it. They did do it. They done this diamond jeweller's shop somewhere in London, and what they done, they burnt the hinges off. This was an old safe. Because normally the safe door is flat to the safe surface, but older ones had a hinge, and that's what you do. You cut the hinge off, take the door off.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
So I thought,
Bloody hell.
gee.
Wonder how much they got.
Oh, I don't know.
If we could find the date, that'd be on Google somewhere.
Well,
Some
I
record
wouldn't.
somewhere.
I wouldn't want
Shit.
to
No, leave it.
leave it at that. I
Let's
thought,
sleep with
no,
dogs
no,
flying, mate.
I shall leave that.
Bloody hell.
And
Christ.
I'll tell you another little story. By then, I was allowed to work on my own, and I could have a mate of my own, but they were normally given an experienced person. Let me get a quick thing come through. There's a quick job in Parkhurst. You can go and do it. You'll be on your own. It's only a day's work, maybe two. Get all your equipment off. There's all your blueprints. There's your stuff, and you know, tomorrow turn up at Parkhurst.
A few faces there then.
So, wow. So in I goes, I get the little warder with me and off I goes. Walking through, all of a sudden the warder says, oh hang on a minute. He then shoots off and leaves me.
Thanks.
I thought, shit. And being a nosy bugger, I saw in this great big wall, a door, part opened. I thought, so I looked around, nobody about. The warder was still in the other place. I then pushed the door open, and walked in, and who did I bump into? Some people may remember the Shepherd's Bush police killings. One of those was a bloke called Harry Roberts. He shot 2 policemen, and he basically went on the run. And they finally caught up with him because he was ex-service in what you would call during the war special services. He could live off the land, and he actually had a hide built in Epping Forest. But in the end, they did actually catch him, and he got sent down for life.
I heard of that. Yeah.
And as I pushed the door open, who was standing in front of me, as close as I am to that camera? Harry Roberts. He had these deathly hooded eyes. If you get a photograph of him, you look at his eyes, they're soulless.
Oh.
And he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I went, ugh. Literally.
Did you know who it was at the time?
I knew it was.
Oh, you recognised him?
I recognised him. He recognised I shouldn't be there, and nor should he. But for those split seconds,
It was left there.
those split seconds of me looking at him and him looking at me, it literally put the fear of it, got up me off. With that, I just turned around and walked back out the door. And as I walked back out the door, I ended up at the spot where I was standing, just as the warder come out.
Ooh. Wow.
And he looked at me and said,
You alright?
"You all right?" And I went,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Yeah, look.
Oh, and he looked over and saw the door. And he then went over there, pulled the door shut, and he could then lock it with his key. And that turned out to be the Parkhurst Gardens. That's where he was working. And I was shaking for the rest of the day. I thought, bloody hell, I'll be glad when I get back to...
He's a bad boy. Oh, Frankie
Yeah.
Fraser was in there as well, wasn't he, I think?
Yeah,
I read that book.
he was part of the Richardson gang.
Yeah.
Well, again, that was...
Old time.
this was going back to...
It was 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was late 60s,
Yeah.
early 70s. You know, I got married in 1970, and we were there just before then.
Mm.
But so I worked in the 3 major prisons on the Isle of Wight. Albany, which they were turning from a Category C or Category B to a Category A. We done the big workshop in there, and we revamped the boiler house and stuff like that. But again, the people that you bump into, I learnt so much by listening and talking to convicts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Every day's a school day, isn't it? Huh?
every day's a
Bloody well
school
it is.
day. It's just,
You've got to have your 5 senses open to bloody get the info, but it's out there. Every day you're going to learn something.
yeah. And there was just, as I say, working on the building sites in those days, there was loads and loads of different stories. The banter was amazing.
Oh,
The
I miss doing that. I used to work on a building site for a bit.
exactly. You know, I'm so glad that Darren got the chance to work on a building site. And the youngest son, Kevin, he had, I think, about 8 months, 9 months on a building site
Sparky's mate, you know.
as a Sparky's mate. So
Yeah.
they had that. But now it's all changed, you know, with health and safety and
Oh, it's crazy.
all the different bits and pieces that went on.
Do you know, I remember working at, it was, done a few building sites all around Portsmouth and that back in the day. And yeah, one of them was the firefighting training unit on Whale Island, HMS Excellent.
Oh yeah.
I was involved in like doing loads of work on that. There was an old gym and an old Victorian place converted into houses, I think, near Hampshire Terrace in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And then ended up Gunwolf. I owned Gunwolf for quite a while. So when that was being built, Gunwolf Quays, I was working there. Started off as a labourer, and they put me as a diamond driller as a mate. So I'd done that for a while and impressed. And they said, "Do you want to work as a diamond driller full time?" Yeah, why not? It's a lot better money than just a labourer on a building site. So yeah, I'd done that for a while. Went on the books and He had done some great big bloody 1 metre bloody holes and all sorts of things, amazing things. Great big circular saws that we used to cut off sides going through concrete. And no shit, this circular saw was about 1 to 2 metres big. It looked like something off a Laurel and Hardy film. A great big, huge metal thing.
That's quite safe.
So you got we basically set up on rails like a railway train line, and you had this big like controller unit, and you just cut this big long bloody 50-metre bloody section of concrete or whatever. And here we've done all sorts of stuff. We've done bursting, blasting, demolition, selective stuff, taking out stairwells, using kangos. It was all such a good laugh, but the thing that I take from it the most was the banter.
Oh, banter was brilliant.
The wind-ups we used to play on people and stuff we got back to us. Oh my God. Any of you guys who worked on building sites know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Right down to the graffiti on the toilet doors, you know. It's just bonkers, mate. And the fry-ups. We used to have fry-ups in there. Yeah. No word of a lie. I was skinny as a beanpole back then. Back in 1999, I think this was. And I think it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. We go to the tee up, which is a porter cabin, and we go in there, and there'll be like a counter, and you get like a fried breakfast, and this fried breakfast will take you through to 6 o'clock in the evening. You weren't hungry, trust me, and it was only like 4 or 5 quid or something, and you had this plate which was bigger than a bus steering wheel, full up with roast potatoes, chunky prepper, my friend, you would love it there. It had everything, and I'll tell you, everyone used to plough through that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, just got an alert on my phone.
When are you coming home?
No, that's 4 o'clock. That's from my boy. Anyway, Thomas the Tank Engine, he loves that. Oh. But yeah, we used to get loaded up on that, and that would take us right through till 6 o'clock in the evening. You weren't hungry at all, and by 6 he was hungry and he was alright, but yeah.
Building site food, amazing.
Cheap as well, what you got. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Happy days, eh?
I'll tell you another little story before I go.
Yeah.
Of,
where are you going?
I've got to go home and feed the cat. I haven't got one.
It's an hour and a month.
Again, this was in Camp Hill. We had to convert their old coke-fired boilers into oil-fired boilers. All it means is basically put a big oil jet on the front that fires the oil in, heats it up, and that does what coke used to do. But we also had to build a massive great storage unit, a massive great big square container to obviously put the oil in. So you're talking about probably 15 foot by 15 foot cube. That had to be built, so we built all that. We put all strengthened rods inside to keep it in shape. That had to have a wall built around it in case anything happened, and the oil that would come out will be contained in the wall. But first of all, before we put the oil in, we had to pressure test it. So we had to fill it up with water, and it took probably 6 odd hours to fill it up with water. Then we had to seal it and pressure test it. The first time we pressure tested it, we was getting right close to it, and the needle was going up. And all of a sudden, one big mighty bang!
No.
Shit. So we checked it, pressure's still up. Shit, what's going wrong? All we could think out was the fact that the rods inside, to keep it in its shape, one of those had come off.
Uh-oh, pressure's moved it.
So, shit, we got, I don't know how many thousands of gallons of water we had in there. So now we got to get rid of it. Now this stopcock was right down the bottom, obviously, close to the wall. So the wall and the stopcock about a foot off the floor. So we had to punch a hole through the bottom of the wall.
Oh God, yeah.
Then someone had to go down between the big steel block and the wall to actually turn the stopcock. So they all looked at me and I thought, you can bugger off, I'm not going down there. Anyway, one of the other lads went down there. So we let the water out and we thought this could take, took all through the night. So we just left it. It went out through the wall, through the thing, down the drains and off it went. And that was it. We thought, well, we just well go home. We can't do nothing until the morning. So we all shot off home. Come back in the morning. That was bloody hell to play.
Shit.
Because all the water was going down, went into sewerage systems, and right through Parkhurst village. That's all you could hear during the night time was the manhole covers
Popping.
going crash,
Oh, what? It affected it that much?
crash. Oh, yeah, so we all had a good laugh at that. Then we had to get inside. So because I wouldn't go down and undo the stopcock, I had to go inside. It was okay. It was just one of the strengthening rods inside. You know, the weld had broke. So a bloke called Teddy, he went in there and re-welded it. Then we had to do the pressure test again.
Oh, God.
So we done the pressure test, and that was fine, no problem. But we had to get rid of the water again.
Oh,
Thousands and thousands of gallons of bloody water.
it's amazing that Isle of Wight didn't bloody drown or whatever.
So they had to send messages all through Parkhurst village.
Yeah. Do you know what, you saying that reminded me of another story that I had. And this was over at Whale Island, HMS Excellent, doing that firefighting thing. And they put me with this other labourer. I think his name was Jay or something like that. And he was half Dutch. And he was a good lad, he was a grafter. And he was a little bit slow sometimes, but it was funny. He was funny to work with. So Gaffer said to us, he said, you lads look over there at the end of this building, there's a pallet, and on that pallet is a box. Can you get that and break it all up and put it in the bins? Yeah, okay then. So we lifted this pallet up, didn't weigh anything. So we took it outside of this firefighting facility that we were building. You can see it on the M275. If you look over to your right, you see like firefight training or something. That was the building that we was building, and all of the metal warships inside it for training. Anyway, so there we are. We picked up this great big pallet, and it was probably about 3 or 4 foot square cube pallet with the cardboard box. So we took it out of the building, up down the road, and we put it down and thought, right, let's start breaking it up and get it out of the way because there's some bins over there. And what we didn't realise is about 200 yards away from us, over this big long lawn, was these buildings. And I didn't know this, but these buildings belonged to or housed someone really high up in the Navy, adjutant or whatever they're called, admiral.
Yeah.
I'm not that affiliated with naval rank structure, but he was really high up, this guy. So what we done is, right, on the count of 3, we'll lift this box up. We lifted it up on the count of 3, and guess what it was?
What?
It was packed full of billions and billions and billions of polystyrene balls. We lifted it up and his stuff went everywhere. It was on a day like this actually, and it looked like it'd been snowing. His stuff was blowing everywhere. And at the precise moment when we lifted it up and it just went woof, white out, we was like, oh God, what was this? This adjutant guy, whoever it was, he said, what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? And we were running around trying to scoop up all this stuff. And I'll tell you what, if I was to see that on CCTV, I'd wet myself laughing. I had no idea what was in there. He was well stitched up. But yeah, just so many things like that used to carry on. But just to see the look on that guy's face, to see us like prattling, Laurel and Hardy chasing that stuff. Fucking wind blew it everywhere. Crazy.
I'll tell you one more story. This is when I first started work at a place called Halmatics in Portsmouth. We were building glass fibre boats, and us teenage snotty-nosed kids, we started off as like runners, which meant you got all the equipment ready for when they built the boats. And then after a while, you went and done another part. You went in the mixing bay and learned about mixing. You went in the stores, all stuff like that. Well, a lot of us were quite know-all-lippy teenagers, and
we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
And all these different sizes of boats we had to build. There was one there, 38 foot long, and it's all encased. And you actually work inside. You build the boat from the inside out. And all the workmen were actually inside. And us kids used to bring all the stuff up for them, as we said. Well, I was quite lippy, and they decided to get their own back on me. and I thought I was too clever for them because I would just run off. But they set a trap for me, and they caught me. And in those days, we all had overalls on, and the top of the railing of this particular boat was probably about 15 foot off the ground, and a walkway round it, so you could actually walk round the hull.
Yeah.
So what they done, unbeknown to me, they got one of the airlines up, and the airline staple gun. So they got hold of me, got me by the arms like that, hung me over the side of the wooden gang bit of the handrail. So I was spread out like that, and they held me out like that,
Oh dear.
and got me overall like that,
Jesus, what was
and
that advert?
stapled me. Kutch, kutch, kutch. So I'm spread eagled, hanging over,
you're
looking
screwed,
down to
mate.
the floor,
Yeah.
and I'm just hanging there.
God, do you know what? That reminds me of that advert back in the 70s. Was it Polyseal? They had that bloke on
That's
a
it.
on a board on an helicopter taking it all up in
That's
the air.
it. Well, that was me, hanging over the bloody side.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
Did I tell you about that one? There's another one. This is turned into little stories, this is. Bloody hell. I worked at, there's an Italian-run traditional family ice cream business in Portsmouth
oh yeah.
called Vericia's. And the guy who was in charge of that place was Dino Vericia. And he used to work there, I think it was like school holidays, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When the summer
Oh, yeah,
season,
yeah.
working in the ice cream factory, just doing all sorts of stuff to help out and whatnot, and making ice cream and blah blah. But one day there was a guy there called Colin, big fat guy, and we always used to muck around and wind each other up. And do you know what he done? He got me one day. I had a moped back then, the little scooter, little 50cc thing,
Oh, yeah.
FZ50. Do you remember that orange and
Yeah,
white thing?
exactly. Yeah.
I'll come out of work, I'm gone. Oh, I fucking went mad. Where the bloody hell's my bike? So I was running around asking someone. And they let me sweat it for a good 10 minutes. And trust me, 10 minutes is a long time when you finish the day's work and you want your bike and want to get home. So they was just about to get in their car and go off. He goes, oh, look in the freezer. I was like, oh, what? And we had these big walk-in freezers. And guess what? In them bastards put my bike in the freezer and been there for hours. Big frozen lump. I had to bloody drag it out of there and wait for it to bloody thaw out. Oh, you bastards. But yeah, they put my bloody moped in a walk-in freezer. Thanks, lads.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah. But that's it now. It's all part character building, isn't it? I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many stories, isn't it?
Oh, there's loads of stories.
We could be here forever, literally. There's tons. Yeah, these are things that just pop into
Oh,
our head.
look, 4 o'clock gone.
We call that a wrap then?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then, well I hope you've enjoyed that random bit of a chit chat, and I think we're going to make plans to tidy up all this, leave no trace as we do, and yeah, we'll get that sorted, eh?
Correct.
Cool.
Correct.
Until the next time, see you later.
Hey, have fun.
That's it. Floor's completely clear, and you wouldn't even know we've been here, and that's what you should always do when you do things like this. Right, that's it, all done, all tidied up now, it's all sorted. You wouldn't even know we've been here, which is, everyone should do this. Don't leave it a shithole, it's not good. So yeah, thanks for sticking through this really long video, but you know, you can't please everyone, it's long, it is what it is. Watch it in bits and pieces if you don't want to watch it in all in one go. So yeah, had a good time, eh?
Certainly did.
Yeah.
And thank you all for all your kind comments.
Yeah, it's true, because we always get good feedback when we do this sort of thing, and it was 4 hours away from the bullshit and the madness, and oh, I think the beer helped, didn't it?
Certainly did.
There it is. You saw it here first, didn't you? Getting your COVID guts. Brilliant. So yeah, well, stick around for future videos, more to come hopefully as and when I've got time to do it, but thoroughly enjoyed myself. Won't have to week
Certainly
for at
did.
least 5 hours, and maybe you lay down if I'm lucky. So thanks for watching and stay funky.